It is now 5 o'clock. I will call the meeting of the Waxahachie Independent School District Board of Trustees to order. Please let the record show that we have 6 trustees in attendance. Mr. McCutcheon will be joining at a later time. Also, this meeting has been duly called, and this notice of the meeting has been duly posted for time and manner required by law. At this time, we will go into closed session according to Section 551.001 et sec of the Texas Government Code. It is now 5 p.m. 5:50, we are going to reconvene back into open session. At this time, I'm going to ask Mr. Schoolfield to lead us in an invocation, following by Mr. Luke Witten and Jackson Hall of Northside Elementary with our pledges.
Shall we pray? Father, thank you for the opportunity we have to gather here. Please be with the people of this community and this district. Lead us in a direction to serve you. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, boys.
Our vision is to be a district where innovation thrives and growth is limitless.
We value choices because they make us unique and are critical to learning.
We value a collaborative culture that honors and supports all who positively impacts the lives of our students.
We value an environment of belonging that respects individual differences and ensures equality for all.
We value relationships that broaden learning experiences and enrich our community.
Okay, next item on our agenda will be our recognitions. I believe we have several of those tonight, right, Ms. Bridges?
We do. We've got a full house this evening. Good evening, Dr. Hollingsworth and board. First this evening, I would like to invite the members of the Waxahachie Kiwanis Club who are here to come up. About a year ago, the Waxahachie Kiwanis Club started building a clothing closet for Waxahachie ISD students in need. With the help of our amazing community, the district, the Oddfellows, Waxahachie Care, and the Avenue Church, they have helped many children this year and are poised to do even more in the future. We are so appreciative of their partnership and their care for our students. Thank y'all for coming. The Waxahachie Young Professionals each year choose 40 community members under 40 years of age as the 40 under 40. These people are outstanding in their fields and make an impact on their community every day. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you so much, Dr. Hollingsworth. We have 5 recipients this year in WISD that we'd like to recognize this evening. As I call your name, please come forward. Morgan Burnett, Global High School Health Science Dean. Stephanie Foster, Northside Elementary Principal. Normel Gilliam, Turner Pre-K Academy Principal. Brittany Griffith, Felty Elementary Principal. And Veronica Schaefer, Shackelford Elementary Principal. invite the group from Mentors Care to come up. I believe Dina Petty is speaking on their behalf. Dina, I'm gonna move this over because this
sorry
will
about that.
advance the slide. You're fine, no worries.
Okay, well, first of all, it is such a great honor to be standing here after serving an entire year at Waxahachie ISD. We love this place, and we're so honored to be here. It's been a great year, and I just wanted to give you a little bit of background of Mentors Care if you don't know who we are. We are a mentoring program for students who are struggling in high school, and we match them with a mentor, and they meet every week for 1 hour. They have curriculum they go over. We address any issues that they might have, whether it's struggles in life or it's academic. We want to see them not only graduate from high school, but learn how to be successful in life. What does it take to be a successful person? And then help them go on a pathway. What are they going to do after high school? So here in Waxahachie, we were hoping our first year to have 30 mentors. We are close to 50 mentors meeting with 50 students. So every year, the last 3 years, we have created the Carl Smith Outstanding Mentor Award. And it's based upon a wonderful man, Carl Smith, who was on our board, served on our board for years. He was also a school board member for many years, a wonderful man and a community person who loved children and was just exemplary. And he passed, and so we are honoring him every year by giving out the Carl Smith Outstanding Mentor Award. And the person we chose is out of 700 mentors that we now have across 15 high schools. This is a person who is amazing lady. She's been with us since 2014. She has had 5 students over those many years. And she started with us in Midlothian High School, Heritage High School, and now she's here at Waxahachie High School serving with a student. She's just a beautiful lady. But I am going to go ahead and now turn this over to the wife of Carl Smith, Ann Margaret Smith, who is now serving on our board and has been such a great addition, and she is going to present our award. Ann Margaret Smith.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here tonight to give the Carl Smith Award. I'd like to take a moment and tell you the characteristics that we search for in our mentors to serve them this award. The recipient of this award is a person of integrity, strength, humility that creates a safe, non-judging atmosphere. The mentor exemplifies caring, dedication, and compassion for every student, truly focusing on the needs of the students by having a listening ear and gently guiding them with wisdom. The outstanding mentor goes an extra mile to ensure the student knows that they are valued and have a purpose. They always see the best in them, helping them achieve their goals. My husband's personal goal and comment all the time was, even as a board member, making a difference for every student, one student at a time. Frankie Furr has been chosen as our Carl Smith Mentor of the Year. Her bio is amazing. As I read what she wrote of how mentors' care affected her, I knew she was somebody special. I'd like to read you what she wrote. As a mentor and Mentors Care program, I am humbled, honored, hopeful, prayerful, and joyful. I am humbled and honored that a student trusts me enough to share her feelings or his feelings. Prayerfully, my words are enough to help them find insight, and that by listening to them, they find a measure of peace. I am joyful that I might have made a positive difference in the life of just one student at a time. You rocked it. Congratulations.
Next, I'm excited to welcome Sean Cagle to talk about some fine arts achievements.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Hollingsworth. There he is. Tonight I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the elite team and officers of the 60th line of the Charmers of WVI ISD. They have had a very, very successful spring season of competition. I'm going to ask their director, Ms. Erica Wilcox, to come and give you some more details about that.
Good evening, everyone. This year we had the distinct honor and pleasure of attending 5 competitions this year, one being in Hawaii. We competed at the Crowd Pleasers Dance Nationals on March 10th, 2023 in Honolulu. And while in Hawaii, we came back the Crowd Pleasers Dance Large Team Classic National Champions. So standing before you, these young ladies have put in countless of hours of many sweat, blood, sweat, all the above, practice, and I cannot thank them enough for all their hard work, dedication, and efforts that they do for the Cherokee Charmers. So again, I present to you the Hawaii and the American Dance Drill Team National Champions, the Cherokee Charmer Officers, and Elite Team for the 60th Cherokee Charmer line. And none of this will be made possible without the support of our wonderful school district and wonderful school board members. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and a gracious thank you to our parents.
Great job, y'all. So good evening, y'all. I have yet more fine arts department students to recognize and their wonderful teacher. Tonight we have Elizabeth Garcia and Mrs. Mary German. Her art teacher, Mason Clark, couldn't be with us this evening, but Ms. German and Elizabeth went down to VASE, which is the Visual Arts Scholastic event put on by the Texas Art Educators Association Conference State Competition. This is the 4th year in a row that Ms. German has taken students from ceramics down to this state competition. And it is an elite group. As you can see, the work here of Elizabeth and Mason, really, really impressive. These are ceramic fired pieces. It takes quite a bit of time, and you can definitely see the skill that they possess. So we appreciate them and want to recognize them for their great success.
Board, next I'd like to ask Ashley Binnicker to come up. Oh, there she is. Hi.
Good evening, Dr. Hollingsworth and Board of Trustees. It is my honor and my privilege to recognize our CTE students tonight. Our career and technical student organizations we have 17 chapters between both high schools with over 1,200 students affiliated, and we are continuing to compete through the spring semester, which will move into the summer. Tonight we're going to recognize 4 of our student groups, the first of which is HOSA, Health Occupation Student Association, and we're going to recognize Clara Moriarty for going to state and topping in the top 20 at pharmacy science. Joining Clara are our instructors, Lindsay Savala, Amy Miner, and Alyssa Starrett. And I do want to mention that she was not only competing against high school students, but we found out at the competition that she'd be competing against college students. So top 20 is really great. Our law enforcement students compete in the Texas Public Safety Association CTSO. Our student Heavenly Houston placed 7th place in forensic anthropology. Callie Buchanan placed 9th in bunker gear race. And our other competitors at the state level were in crime scene, Deasia Tolliver, Rianne Wellman, and Eris Headley. Fingerprints was Deasia Tolliver, and traffic stop Kennedy Mitchell. Fiber analysis was Heavenly Houston and Hanel Figueroa. And joining them are Kristen Grace, Joe Savala, and Darren Ray. Our next CTSO is the Technology Student Association. We have chapters at both Global High School and WHS. These students not only competed at the state level, but several of them are going on to the national level in June. The first is our Fashion Design Team 1, Marcus Rodriguez, Stephanie Luna, and Natalia Martinez. Fashion Design 2, Maya Gus. Oh, okay, only our Team 1 is here. Maya Gus, Jocelyn Lerma, and Photo Technology, Jocelyn Lerma. For WHS, in audio podcasting, first place at regionals was Sarah Barker, Aria Wilson, Joshua Reiser, and Noah Polk. Digital video production, first place at regionals, Andrew Artle, Sarah Barker, Ian Hathaway, Joshua Reiser, and Noah Polk. Forensics, first place at regionals, Caden Vire and Jordan Rodriguez. Manufacturing prototype, first place at regionals, Blas Sotelo and Matthias Colvert. On-demand video team, first place at regionals, Andrew Artle, Sarah Barker, Ian Hathaway, Noah Polk, and Joshua Reiser. Photographic technology, first place, regionals, Jack Fenton. Chapter team, second place at regionals, Philosophy Smith, Caden Vire, Matthias Colvert, Caleb Linsenbart, Isaac Garling, and Ethan Holmberg. Structural engineering, second place at regionals, Matthias Colvert and Isaac Garling. Technology Bowl, second place at regionals with Joseph Jimenez, Isaac Garling, and Ethan Holmberg. Video game design, second place at regionals, Kevin Cardenas Rios and Matthew Jones. Promotional design, third place at regionals, Jackson Robinson. And senior solar sprint, third place at regionals, Ethan Holmberg and Isaac Garling. We're still going, guys. Bear with me. They all competed at state as well, so I want to get through it. CNC and Cam Wood Lathe Pen and Pencil. First place at regionals, Noah Adams. 3D printed 2+ parts. First place regionals, Caleb Linsenbart. Desktop publishing portfolio. First place at regionals. Oh man, help me out, Miss Byer. Huh? Fakayo? Okay, there we. Oh, it's, okay. 2D animations in 30 seconds. First place at regionals, Naomi Martinez. Color portrait photography beginner, first place at regionals, Ian Hathaway. Color portrait special effects, first place at regionals, Sarah Barker. Wildlife photography, first place at regionals, Andrea Rojas. Graphic solutions manufacturing, first place, Philosophy Smith. Graphic solutions information technology, first place, Joseph Jimenez. Desktop publishing portfolio, second place, Adeline Mills. 2D animations, 30 seconds, second place, Elijah Boswell. Graphic solutions information technology, second place, Kevin Cardenas Rojas. Color still life, third place, Guillermo Correa. Graphic Solutions Information Technology, Matthew Jones. Graphic Solutions Biotechnology, Caden Vire. Graphic Solutions Engineering Design, Ethan Holmberg. CNC Wood Lathe, Noah Adams. 2D Animation, Naomi Martinez. Color Special Effect Photos, Sarah Barker. And 2D Animation, Elijah Boswell. And then, of course, our last slide here is our group that is going to nationals, as well as our global kids that are going to nationals. And the chapter team from WHS will include Philosophy Smith, Caden Beyer, Matthias Colvard, Isaac Garling, Ethan Holmberg, and Caleb Lindenbart. And that's our TSA team. And then our Skills USA Culinary Arts students who competed at the State Skills USA competition include Tava Pixamatis, Commercial Baking for Baked Goods, Best in Show. Morgan Barr, Commercial Baking, 1 to 2 tier cakes, Best in Show. Vivian Killian, Commercial Baking. And Preston Johnson, Action Skills. And of those groups, our groups that will go to nationals are FCCLA, TAFE, and TSA. And then I want to mention our upcoming events. The Arts AV movie premiere will be held on July 14th and 15th at the Texas Theater, and the FFA banquet will be held on May 16th.
All right. Next, I'd like to invite Stephanie Foster, principal of Northside Elementary, to come out. Oh, you're behind me. Hi.
Well, I love a good surprise. So I got my difference makers here on the premise that the board was going to ask them questions about what I'm going to tell you about. So let me tell you why these ladies are my difference maker. First of all, good evening. I'm thrilled to be here to introduce you to 10 staff members that have lived out what it means to be a professional learning community. In early March, after receiving interim results for our third grade students, we had a huge celebration of their growth thus far. Our third grade students were heavily impacted by COVID in pivotal grades of kindergarten and first grade. There are large academic gaps for third graders statewide. After we celebrated, there were many conversations to be had about the data. One of those conversations happened between Solution Tree Associate Claricelle Davis, Stacy Johnson, myself, and my amazing third grade team. This collaborative conversation led to an idea of creating 2 30-minute periods of the day where 7 teachers from pre-K through second grade pushed up into third grade to fill foundational elements and gaps that were causing our students to struggle. When we pulled these 7 individuals together one afternoon to tell them our plan, we weren't really sure what to expect. And they all answered, never missed a beat, absolutely, whatever the students need. So we carried this plan out for 4 weeks. There were many days that I would see my teachers running from one hall to the other to make sure that they could make every minute count with students. Many beautiful things came from this. Teachers got to know each other on a deeper level. There was vertical alignment, but most of all, our students benefited tenfold. These 10 educators have lived out the professional learning community belief that all means all, and the Hatchie vision that we will do whatever it takes to help every student grow. Let me introduce you to the Northside Difference Makers of May. I have my third grade teachers, if y'all will stand and come up when I call your name, Ashley Kalin, Haley McAllister, and Jessica Arnaud. Pre-K teacher Dee Dee Allen. Kindergarten teachers Brittany Hall and Katie Hill. First grade teachers Jerica Mills and Courtney Sutton. And second grade teachers Jennifer DeLeon and Megan Allen. Please help me give a large round of applause. I'm so fortunate to have the opportunity to stand here and present one of my most favorite experiences that I have ever provided as a principal. This spring, the Northside campus worked together to put on an experience called One School, One Book. With One School, One Book, we selected a book and each student in our school received a copy to read at home with their family. At school, students celebrated and explored the novel with their classmates. This essential strategy reinforced reading instruction, increased parental involvement, bridged the home-to-school connection, and it helped to build a true community of readers. It all began with a kickoff of patches showing our students the book, and then we went to every single classroom and delivered the books to students. As you can see, they were so excited. Our book was about a squirrel named Twitch. And so what happened was after we gave the book, we gave chapters for each night. And as we read, we had different trivia about Twitch throughout the story. And then also Twitch had different interactions throughout the campus. And so he showed up to every single classroom with his notebook, and our students were able to write an excerpt into the book about Twitch's point of view of what was happening in the classroom. Our art teacher, Mrs. Landry, connected the story to art in her classroom. She had her students recreate the grade level pet from each chapter, and this beautiful artwork hung in our hallways for all to see. At the culmination of our book, we hosted a family engagement night centered around our book, 8 Class Pets. We had activities that connected arts, science, engineering, math, and more to our book. Reading aloud is the single most important thing parents can do for their children. One school, one book got our families engaged with the school and created a common language and interest that spread throughout the campus. But in my opinion, these photos right here hold the true value of an activity like this. There is nothing more important than children sitting in the laps of their parents and enjoying a good story. Thank you.
I'd like to now invite Greg Reed to come up.
We're in here. All right. Good evening. All right, good evening, trustees. I've made a lot of presentations over the last 8 years to trustees and stakeholders, but this one's very special. And I want to take a few minutes and celebrate the professional careers of Todd Alexander, Sandy Fawcett Stoops, and Terry Minton. Collectively, they represent 100 years in public education. Together, they have mentored dozens of coaches and positively impacted thousands of students. Each of them dearly love WISD and have served our school community faithfully and undeniably with loyalty, integrity, and character. Coach Todd Alexander will be retiring this year with a total of 26 years in public education. After beginning his coaching career for 2 years in Maypearl, Coach Alexander came to Waxahachie, where he and I worked together as junior high coaches. Coach AZ, as the kids call him, has a very unique career at Waxahachie ISD, where he has served as the head coach for 3 sports. He was the head football coach, head girls cross-country coach, and currently the head boys golf coach. As the head football coach, Coach Alexander made history in 2018 by leading the Indians to their first football playoff appearance in the 6A classification. One of Coach Alexander's greatest attributes is his patience. In all 3 of his head coaching jobs, he was given a difficult task to stabilize and grow programs that were struggling. And in all cases, he left the programs in far better shape than he found them. When times are tough, Todd Alexander is always your guy. As a teacher, as a coach, and as a friend. Coach Sandy Fawcett Stoops. She'll be retiring this year with a total of 36 years in public education. She was the head volleyball coach at Greenville High School and then Highland Park High School before taking over the program as head coach for the Waxahachie Indians. We have all heard about Coach Fawcett's coaching accolades many times over the last several years, but tonight I want to talk about her contribution to the WISD athletic department. One of Coach Fawcett's greatest attributes is her loyalty to her coaches, players, and school community. As the girls athletic coordinator for the last 10 plus years, she has single-handedly made the girls athletic program 7 through 12 what they are today. She is a coach for coaches. She demands great work ethic. She is a champion for athletics in all programs, but her dedication and energy to ensure the best opportunities for our female athletes is unmatched. Coach Terry Minton will be retiring this year with a total of 39 years in public education. After 1 year of student teaching in Abilene, he went on to 1 year in Cisco, 5 years in Royce City, 7 years in West Texas, 1 year at Kemp, and 24 years at Waxahachie. Before coming to Waxahachie, Coach Minton worked as a head golf coach, head track coach, football offensive coordinator, and tennis coach. Coach Minton has coached every sanctioned UIL sport except swimming and wrestling. In 24 years at Waxahachie ISD, he has served as the assistant head coach to David Ream. He was also the head boys track coach, boys powerlifting, boys golf, and most recently, he has been working in the athletic operations and facilities. Coaches, it has been an honor to work alongside for the 26 years that I've been here. And on behalf of WISD students and its coaches, thank you for your excellence and your faithful work in public education. We will have a reception for these three at the high school after school, and just look for that date coming out in May if anybody wants to come. Hi.
What time is that for staff?
4:30 to 5:30. Yeah, once everybody gets a chance to get off campus and get there. Okay.
Board, finally this evening, Josh Oliver has asked to say a few words. And yes, we are being very brave by allowing him to do this.
I kept it down to one page. I just wanted to say thank you. This is officially my last school board meeting in my position over safety and security and WISD, and it stings leaving. The leadership of the police department told me that it's for selfish reasons that they're pulling me away, and leaving was not my first choice, but I go where I'm needed. When I started here, the chief pulled me aside and praised me for the job that I was doing, and he told me that everyone at the school district felt the same way. He told me to be cautious, though, because one day I might do something that would bring the honeymoon to an end. Over 3 years later, I can say that, at least on my end, the honeymoon never ended. People have asked me if I'm excited about this next phase of my career, and I am, but I'm going to miss all the people here. I'll truly miss so many of the staff and students that I was able to see on a regular basis, and in fact, over the past couple of months, I've had a hard time just staying away. The people up here have made such a huge impact on me and have taught me so much. In the Gospel of Luke, Jesus asked, suppose one of you had 100 sheep, but you lose one of them. Do you leave the 99 in the open country and go after that lost sheep until you find it? I know how Lee and Ginger and Jacob and Tanya and David would answer that question because I've seen them live it. I've gotten the phone calls late at night or on a Saturday or during church on Sunday morning, or even a text from a beach in Hawaii when these people were supposed to be spending that time with family. But without fail, when they know that a student is in need, they put their social, their professional lives, their personal lives on hold because a student needs them. Every single student, even with over 10,000 of them, they get that kind of dedication and love from these people. Every student matters. Seeing that compassion and selflessness from the people here has made a huge impact on me. My father always taught me to leave every place you go better than when you found it. And I hope that I accomplish that here. But I know as I leave here, I've been made better. I know that if I'm half as articulate as Lee, or passionate as David, or resolute as Lisa, if I can smile like Jenny or be as kind as Greg, as fearless as Stephanie and Erica, as sweet as Darla, or determined as Jacob, strong as Ashley or smart as Dustin, skilled as Stephen and Andy, if I can lead like Belvis, be determined as Lisa, love like Nisa, or be as genuine as Jerry, and even laugh like Bonnie, my future anywhere is limitless. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve this community in this way, and thank you for the love and support that you've all showed me every single day.
During a board meeting before, but leave it to Josh Oliver. And thanks, Ryan. And that ends our recognitions. Thank you, board.
Good. Next item on our agenda is our open forum. We did not have one signed up to speak tonight, so we'll move into our reports. Report A will be our superintendent's report. Dr. Hollingsworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. As I do each month, I bring to you today our monthly enrollment, average daily attendance. You'll notice that we ended the month of April with 10,875. And I will point out this is highly unusual this time of year to see your enrollment rising. That is atypical. Well, I can't think of a year in my career that I've seen that. It's always going down this time of year, but we are up 5 students from the end of March. And our average daily attendance, I'm happy to report, is also up. A lot of good work, a lot of work on the part of our campus principals under the direction of Mr. Avenshine. I'm very grateful that we're seeing that kind of rebound. We're above 95%, which has been very difficult to attain in post-COVID years. So that's good news. I want to let you know, just looking ahead as we talk about our balanced scorecard that Dr. Averett is leading for our district, what you will see next is you'll hear what we call and refer to as cascading scorecards. And those cascading scorecards will have for every campus and every department, you'll see the first 2 columns will be the same. The priorities will be the same for the entire district. Our performance objectives are the same for the entire district. Our strategies and actions that we use to meet those performance objectives will vary by campus, and they'll vary by department. And you'll begin to see those not only at the campus level and the departmental level, but you'll also begin to see those on campuses, and you'll have individual departments that are developing their scorecards as well. Our priorities will remain the same of student growth, honoring and supporting staff, community and stakeholder relationships, and financial integrity. We will meet with our district leadership team this summer, beginning on May 31st, and again on July 31st. Dr. Gibson will lead our principals and our directors and our cabinet in helping us create those cascading scorecards. I wanted to point out a couple of things about our tonight's consent agenda, which is kind of packed full, but I wanted to point out a couple of things. One is some people don't realize that we begin the hiring process for next year, and so we have to have the approval of those positions. That's part of tonight's consent agenda, and I'm grateful to the board for your approval on those things as part of the consent agenda. And then also, I want you to be aware that there was an informational report in there about our efforts to educate the community on the dangers associated with fentanyl. And I want you just to highlight a few things that are in that presentation that's in your board packet related to parent education presentations, which are ongoing. WISD is in the midst of a social media campaign and will continue to do so over time. There are video presentations that will take place at Global High School and at Waxahachie High School. We will do a June presentation for staff development with counselors, nurses, our security staff, and campus administrators related to the dangers associated with fentanyl. And then also, we have Narcan, which is really an antidote to help with the treatment of a fentanyl potential overdose on campus. And that Narcan is available at every campus nurse station throughout Waxahachie ISD. And then finally, I have been meeting with our county judge, Todd Little, and we are making plans for a partnership with the county to improve our communication with the community about how it is that we can combat this scourge on our community, really on the whole nation of fentanyl use. So I wanted y'all to be aware of those in our consent agenda. Very excited about planning for the future as we move forward from our bond, which the canvassing will take place on the 16th. But we will focus on our highest priority projects moving forward, approving a guaranteed maximum price for elementary number 10, finalizing plans for elementary number 10, making our plans and finalizing them for our new Wildman STEAM Academy, and obviously plans for the Hancock expansion, because once we expand Hancock, we'll prepare it for Coleman Junior High to move across the street. We are in the process, as you know, of finalizing our bond oversight committee, which will be made up of trusted members of our community who will serve us throughout the next several years as we put the bond long-range plan into action. And then we want to begin very soon some site visits at possible other high schools that we may want to consider modeling parts of Comprehensive High School number 2 after. And then we'll begin and have begun already the process of working on the best pricing for all of our projects so that we can potentially, and we plan on from the very beginning bringing those in on time and under budget. So with that, that concludes my superintendent's report, Mr. President.
Any questions for Dr. Hollingsworth?
Get those switch gears ordered.
Yes, we got to get those. That's important. Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on to Report B, informational report on the review of the annual investment report and policies. Mr. Colvin?
Good evening, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. It is that point of the year that we do our annual investment report. This is a requirement under the Texas Public Funds Investment Act, which is in Texas Government Code, Chapter 2256. Just a reminder of our investment objectives, and these are listed in the statute in order of importance. It's to understand the suitability of investment to financial requirements of the district, the preservation and safety of principal, liquidity, marketability of the investment if the need arises to liquidate the investment before maturity, diversification of the investment portfolio, and then finally yield. We generally like to take those not necessarily in reverse order, but we like to move yield up, but we are statutorily required to go through that entire checklist, and it is the 6th out of 6 requirements of the Public Funds Investment Act. With that, you do have a report that shows our annual investments and return on those investments, and that's included within your packet tonight. All of our investment policy and strategies comply with the requirements of the Public Funds Investment Act. Our strategy generally has revolved around keeping as many of our funds liquid as we can, because we do know that we go through cycles. We know that, that our funds collection get really heavy during property tax time, so from November through about February. And then the rest of the year, we're generally using down those funds for the ongoing salaries and operations of our district. So we do not generally tie up a lot of funds outside of a very liquid account. For the year, our average investment yield, this is from May 22 through April of 23, was 3.12% as a district. So excited that it's above zero. We've had some very lean times the last couple of years. I believe a couple of years ago, I told you our average return was 0.070%, and looking back at some of my materials. So this is good news for us as a district. We do anticipate way prognostication into my little crystal ball. I do anticipate that that's going to slow down. I don't see a whole lot of significant rate increases from the Federal Reserve as we continue into 24, but we are excited for what we have. So with that, board, tonight is just a quick overview of the investment policy. There are no recommended changes to the local investment policy, but we will review it again at our June board meeting and seek your approval of our policy or ratification of our policy at that time. Any questions?
Anything from Mr. Collin? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, board.
Okay. Report C, information report on WISD Balance Scorecard Priority 3, Community and Stakeholder Relationships. Dr. Avery.
Yes, sir, President Autry, Dr. Hollingsworth, and the board. Glad to come up this month to talk about Priority 3. Remember last month we were at Priority 2. We were talking about honoring and supporting staff, and we actually have a little data that will relate from this priority back to that too. So kind of get right into it, and I also have Mrs. Bridges here to help because her department is driving the train on our community, student, and staff satisfaction surveys. So our main goal here is increased satisfaction and engagement of our students and families, and that's distribution. The first way we know how we do that is what they tell us. And so we've distributed our survey to students and families, and then we want to develop, and we have developed and implemented connection and collaboration rounding. So we did distribute our survey. It was closed as of Friday, April 28th. We have a new vendor, Qualtrics. We are very pleased with Qualtrics at this point. They helped us with some of the questioning because these people are experts in statistics and surveying, so they helped us with our questioning. They also launched it for us, got the data back, and were able to analyze it in a very, very quick manner. And I'm going to let Jenny talk a little bit about that if she wants to, as far as how that worked.
Sure. So, as Dr. Averett said, we've had a fantastic start with Qualtrics. The best thing about Qualtrics as opposed to survey mechanisms that we've used in the past is that Qualtrics will automatically create dashboards for us. They will automatically find, things of statistical importance within our surveys. In the past, we've kind of had to comb through that ourselves, which can be laborious. And so Qualtrics does it for us in a scientific way, which is fantastic. Another great thing, engagement is obviously very important, getting people to actually fill it out. And Qualtrics has automated reminders that go out to people who have not completed the survey. And so we definitely saw spikes in people remembering to take the survey when they got those reminders. So we're very, very pleased with them as a company so far.
One of the things I wanted to mention, as I said, related back to Priority 2, honor and support staffs. One of our goals, one of our long-term desired outcomes, which obviously this year was to get a baseline. Last year we were not satisfied with our 22.5% faculty survey numbers. That was all we got back from our staff was 22.5% of our staff participated. This year our goal was 45%. We wanted to double it. And right now we're looking at about 56 to 60% of our staff actually participated in the survey. So we're really excited about that because we feel like it's going to give us better data. We want to make good decisions about how we're supporting folks and what we're providing to folks, and we think we're going to be able to do that with more data than just 22.5%. One of the things we've also done is key progress measures is that Dr. Hollingsworth has established student advisory boards with diverse groups of students. We've had 2 of those meetings this year, one in the fall, one in the spring. In the fall, we had all the groups together, elementary through high school. We decided after some student feedback that they really felt more comfortable if the younger kids were together and then the older kids were together. So we split that up, secondary and elementary, and did get great participation. You know, what Dale Hansen would say, kids say the darndest things. Well, sometimes they will tell you exactly what's on their mind. So we have gotten some really good feedback from our kids. They are our main customers, right? And so we really have to hear from them about what's going on. And so they've been very honest and frank, and that's given us some stuff to look to how we can improve our practice and improve how we serve them. Town hall meetings, one of our other goals and progress measures was to conduct town hall meetings. We have conducted 2 of those this spring. We've had about 200 people attend in those 2 meetings, which is up from our typical attendance. But the biggest thing is Facebook.
Sure. So we, with the assistance of our amazing technology department, specifically our hero, Stephen Castaneda, we have been able to stream those town hall events live on Facebook, and then we can also post them to our Facebook page so people can watch them later. And of our 2 town hall meetings this spring, we had about 6,000 people watch those videos, which is phenomenal engagement. And so that is definitely something we want to keep doing moving forward. We think it's a great way for people to understand that we want to hear from them and that we care about them knowing what's going on in our district. Do you want to talk about Facebook Live also?
Well, during those meetings, we got questions from the audience, but we also got questions from Facebook, and so we were able to answer those questions live right there, and that was really great. And also, Dr. H has done 5 Facebook Live sessions this spring, and that's hit about 13,000 viewers, either live viewers or people who've watched the streams.
And one thing that I have noticed about our Facebook Lives is that since we have been consistent about doing them, at first we get lots and lots of questions. You know, people thought, well, I've just got to ask everything I've ever wanted to know. And now they know that we are accessible, particularly Dr. H is accessible. And so the questions have actually decreased because we are working on getting people the information that they need so they don't have to ask questions.
And you know, you don't get to get up and brag on your boss real often, but I'm going to brag on my boss for a minute. One of the parts that we're talking about here is the fact that we've not only initiated connection and rounding with our staff and now with our students, but Dr. H has also done a phenomenal job doing that with our community. And actually, I didn't get this slide updated in time because I wrote that Dr. Hollingsworth had conducted over 50 in-person meetings with various groups. That's actually 74. He's done 74 meetings with civic groups, with church groups, with on campuses, with the guys drinking coffee at Whataburger. It didn't matter. He was going to go and talk to them if they had questions. And so, you know, just from my seat in the room, the proof is in the pudding on Saturday night. So thank you, boss. I appreciate what you did. Another thing that's really cool that we've been doing this spring, and that's our WISD Great Give Back Initiative.
So the Great Give Back was Dr. Hollingsworth's brainchild. You know, as he says often, it's not like this everywhere, y'all. And our community gives us so much, and so we wanted to do something to show our students how good it feels to give back to a community that gives them so much. And so Sandy King, the amazing Sandy King, has taken the reins of WISD's Great Give Back Initiative. And so what this is several Saturdays this spring, we've had opportunities for kids and staff members to get out, volunteer in our community. So the Cops for Kids picnic, doing cleaning projects around town, working with the Boys and Girls Club, just all kinds of different things. And the kids have really enjoyed it, and we've really been able to get out and help in places that they needed help. So we're very, very proud of this event. Sandy's done an amazing job, and we look forward to continuing it.
All right, and our next step, I know Mr. Calden feels like it's priority for every board meeting because he gets to give financial updates, but Priority 4 is financial integrity report in June. That's not just finances, but it's also how we take care of our buildings. So we'll have information about facilities upkeep, projects, what we're looking for moving forward, and as well as financial integrity. Anybody have any questions? Jenny and I are happy to answer.
Anything for Dr. Averitt? Mr. Bridges? Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Moving to report D is informational report on dual credit partnership between Waxahachie ISD and Texas State Technical College.
All right, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. We, as you know, you approved the MOU with Texas State Technical College back in March, and then they approved our MOU in April. We are excited to announce that we will have dual credit options for our CTE students starting next year for 3 programs. Those students are able to do that at $33 a credit hour. We have 25 seats still available for those students, and we're looking at future expansion and opportunities. Next year, we will have 3 program areas where we focus that effort. So diesel technology, these students will take a bus from WHS in the morning and go over to Red Oak campus. They will attend class periods there every other day, and they'll get their lab hours in there. And then every Friday they'll spend at WHS. They'll do all the computer work that they need to. We still have about 5 spots left open in that. We're going to keep registration open through the summer. And so the students that could be taking automotive 1 or 2 can change over to diesel technology, and we'll take those over at Red Oak. So we love giving them that opportunity because diesel's not something that we have available to offer them at WHS. Next is cybersecurity. Because this is a module-based system, they're able to do that online at WHS. We currently have about 12 more students that we could squeeze into that program, and we already offer cybersecurity classes, so if the students want to take advantage of the dual credit option, we can do that right at WHS with no problem there. And then the last but not least is construction technology. We have a teacher at WHS who is qualified to teach those dual credit classes. So Mr. Smiley, one of our construction teachers, will do that with our construction 1 and then the following year construction 2 classes. We've got about 8 more seats if students want to come into that program as well. We've got plenty of students that could do it. It's just finding the right students who really want to take advantage of that. And so we'll keep registration open for that through the summer as well. These students can gain up to, I think it's 12 hours while they're in high school when they're juniors and seniors. And so we want to give them every opportunity to go on and move into TSTC afterwards to finish their degree there.
Well, I really want to just say thank you, Mrs. Beneker, for your work on getting that done, because not only does this provide more choices for our young people in CTE, it gives us relief, too, in crowded classrooms where those students are able to go on. They get another opportunity, but it also allows us to move them to another facility as well. So that's
Specifically the automotive.
That's right.
That moving one of those classes out has really helped.
Very helpful.
And has really helped alleviate some of the pressure in that program. Any other questions?
Anyone?
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Okay, report E will be our informational report on Waxahachie ISD being a nationally recognized district of STEM excellence.
Good
Zavity.
evening. Good evening, Board and Mr. Hollingsworth and Cabinet, Dr. Hollingsworth and Cabinet. We are here tonight and excited to be here to let you know that our work throughout our district for blazing a trail in STEM education has brought our nice friends here from afar to award our district with the district certification for STEM excellence. We are the first district in Texas to receive this great honor. STEM leaders are responsible for nurturing a culture of continual improvement. And with our NICE certification, that is exactly what they are working on us and helping us do on a daily basis here. Amy Nutt, a teacher here in WISD, says, "Getting NICE certified completely changed my style of teaching. I am now able to enrich all my students every day with meaningful experiences and creative student engagement. My classroom culture is what makes me the happiest. My room is filled with laughter, collaboration, mistakes, and new experiences. I actually enjoy teaching more than I ever have because I get to see my students highly engaged in their learning every day." Our STEM leaders here and our leaders abroad across district listened to our long-range planning committee in 2014 and answered the call. We already at that time had strong programs in STEM education at Waxahachie High School and Global High School, and the call then was to start with our youngest of learners and put them on a path for STEM education for those opportunities in that learning environment to increase what we already had going at the secondary level. In 2015 to 2017, campus leaders, administrators, and teachers throughout the district from all campuses participated in learning through Project Lead the Way with the University of Texas at Tyler, through Texas A&M Spark, and we began taking district and campus tours to see what else was happening around Texas in this area. In 2017, we hosted our first STEAM Expo here in Waxahachie ISD, and that was to celebrate with our community what was coming up next, which was in 2018, to open those doors to our Wildman STEAM Academy, and that campus then became the first of all campuses in Texas to have every professional staff member earn their national certificate for STEM teaching. So that was a great feat right out the door. In 2019, that spring year, we also earned a campus national distinction for STEM excellence for Wildman. The work continued throughout that time, and then up until this year, you know, we're proud to have opened Marvin Biomedical Academy for this school year as their first year here. Through this process with the National Institute of STEM Education, our teachers participate in a lofty competency-based online coach-led platform that bridges that gap from theory to practice. And so our teachers work together on campuses with our district support people and with their coaches online to complete a personal portfolio that showcases their mastery in 15 teacher actions and 38 STEM indicators. The following campuses have teachers and administrators who are currently in this work now: Wildman STEAM Academy, Marvin Biomedical Academy, Turner Pre-K, Coleman Junior High, Findlay Junior High, Howard Junior High, Waxahachie High School, and the Department of Teaching, Learning, and Innovation. Currently, we have 109 educators in district who have completed the certification. That equals 4,142 STEM indicators conquered. That equals 10,900 hours earned of STEM professional development district-wide. We also currently have 59 additional candidates who are in progress for that work now. This is a list of the candidates who have completed at this time. And again here. The next way that the National Institute of STEM Education helps guide us on our journey with STEM education is through certifying campuses at the campus level to signify STEM excellence across their campus as a whole. Our work with Wildman earned that certification that first year, and their teacher, Ms. Bray, shared about that and said that her teaching has changed for the better because of NICE. She has more student-centered lessons, and students navigate their learning and explore their education in multiple ways. Currently in this work for the National Institute of STEM Education with the National Certificate of STEM Excellence is Marvin Biomedical Academy. Teacher Lindsay Green from Marvin shared that NICE certification has given her the tools to guide and facilitate the thinking of her students. Her teaching is more student-centered than ever, and the whole process was a huge eye-opener for growing in her teaching practices. Her students are now more self-motivated. Findlay Junior High is in process to complete their National Certificate for STEM Excellence at the end of next school year. And Amy McCuskey shared, I have learned to allow for more choice, collaboration, and critical thinking amongst my students. There's a difference in how my students now think, problem solve, and approach learning. The third layer in which the National Institute of STEM Education supports our district is they come together with us and bring leaders across the district to work on a leadership team. Our WISD STEAM leadership team began working in 2019 and is still currently going. We looked through data that was gathered through surveys from parents, students, and staff members. There was interviews held with the same group, students, parents, and staff members. We collected that data as well as student data from assessments. And then we visited every classroom throughout the district with the lens of what our areas were that we were looking for to set goals and action plans. And so every campus across the district is benefiting from the work of this team as we're moving forward, and that STEM education piece is trickling down to all students and all staff members in our district. The next few slides are just a very small snippet of things happening that has led us to this distinction and honor tonight. I am very confident that if we all walked campuses today, we could take pictures of all the things that we're seeing that are related to the work behind this team and these individuals across our district, and we could wallpaper our boardroom with that, and that would be a great sight to see. But we're going to give you the short version. So we work with students to show STEM career exploration. We offer a STEM checkout system district-wide for all teachers to be a part of. We offer STEM-based professional learning for educators throughout the district. We have an innovative teaching coalition. Year 2 just came on board, so we'll have phase 1 and phase 2 of that. That picture is of year 1 for those teachers. We have opportunities for our families to attend STEM family campus events. And then this is our collaboration with universities for STEM education. We have STEM career field partners in education. Many campuses have dedicated makerspace areas for STEM and elementary coding and robotics classes. Many students around the district get to participate in STEM-based field trips. We have professional STEM mentors who help guide us and keep us on the right track. And we have student STEM mentors here in our district that are mentoring one another. Our WISD DI teams participate in STEM challenges. We've got one going to the Globals competition at the end of this month. Our GT STEM summer camps are all the craze. After school STEM clubs on many campuses. And this year's first district-wide STEM Summer of STEM camp is being offered, and just anyone who's watching, that application opens tomorrow. It's for K through 8. And through our walk with this journey in STEM education and WISD, these are all the partners who have come and joined in that walk. So these are the people who believe in the work that we're doing, see the benefit of that work for the future of our district and the future of our community, and just the well-being of our students to be well-rounded. Now looking to 2023-2024 next school year, Finley Junior High and Marvin Biomedical Academy will receive their NCSE for their campus cert for STEM excellence when we finish that work of year 1. That is a 3-year process. At the end of year 3, we say everything systems are in place to go, and they'll be able to sustain without the work of the committee at that point. Also next school year, we're excited to announce that Coleman, Finley, and Howard Junior High will all have STEM opportunities for students on those campuses by adding PLTW Gateway courses, computer science for innovators and makers, medical detectives, flight and space, and app creators. Students on those 3 junior high campuses will also have the opportunity to participate in SSEP, the Student Space Exploration Projects, where students will participate in project-based learning opportunities about microgravity. And then Waxahachie students will be represented as astronauts take some of these SSEP projects into space to actually test their hypothesis in that environment. Okay, that was fast. There are so many things going on. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap that up now and introduce you to our partners with the National Institute of STEM Education. We have Jamie Long, Dr. Beth Pesnell, and Judy Zimney.
Hi, I'm Judy Zimney, and I'm representing the National Institute for STEM Education. This is really a momentous occasion that is happening this evening. Of course, it's been building up for many years, and actually, you know, the main thing I'm going to leave this board meeting feeling is humbled, because listening to all of these achievements and the work that's done across this district, which is being led by the board and the superintendent, I'm just like, I'm in awe. And I'm a 27-year public school educator, you know, so wow. Whoop, don't touch it. Okay, sorry. So anyway, but there are a few people that we would specifically like to recognize. Melissa Abade for her vision, her initiative, and her leadership and her persistence with this initiative that is being recognized tonight. We'd like to thank and recognize the board and the administrators and the teachers, because they're the ones who invested the time, the energy, and the problem solving to make that vision become a reality. And a reality beyond what I think the vision even was at the beginning. I mean, it's far, far exceeded. I'd like to thank Beth Pesno over here. Beth has really brought the depth and breadth of STEM pedagogy. You know that question, well, exactly what is STEM? Yeah, we get science, technology, engineering, math, we get that, but like, what's really different in a STEM classroom? She makes it so everybody gets it. And so Beth, thank you for the great work you've done for us in this district. And Jamie Long for keeping everything coordinated across the years, across the different schools and the departments, and just, she's kind of the glue, working with Melissa, that's kept things together. So on this very, very important day that'll go down in history for this district, I thank you and I applaud you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to try to hold my emotions. I've warned Melissa every time I talk about Waxahachie. While Judy is humbled, I am proud. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a crier when I feel so proud and so connected to something that I'm passionate about. As an educator, I've said if my job at Accelerate Learning comes to an end in any sort of way as your account manager for the National Institute of STEM Education, as well as STEM Scopes, your math and science curriculum, I'm coming here. So you might see my name on an application, but hopefully you just see me as your account manager. It has been quite a ride. When I came on board for Accelerate Learning, the first meeting I had for the National Institute was right here. So I remember Melissa saying, I've got a vision, and I hope that we get where I'm going. We got to start here. And I'm like, okay. And it started right here in this building. So to be here tonight, to see the accomplishment of so many people, to see Melissa's team grow, the amazing leaders that I get to work with and help coordinate with curriculum and professional learning, and just to hear the stories, to see the quotes, to be a part of different celebrations, to be a part of the STEM Expo year after year, to be your partner is just very, very important to me. So it's my honor to introduce Beth to you as well and to present this award to you guys tonight. Such a great accomplishment.
What an amazing journey this has been. And I'm just delighted to be here tonight to celebrate this event. And so as Melissa and Judy and everyone else here has shared, I'm Beth Pesnell, and I am a STEM leadership coach and advisor with the National Institute for STEM Education. And I have been with you on this journey since the beginning. I started as a campus coach with Wildman STEAM Academy with Kate and Melissa, with Melissa in the office back in the corner and with a computer that didn't even have a working camera. So it was quite interesting on Zoom calls. So I learned a lot about how to communicate and coach without being able to see her face. So we learned a lot about vocal expression. I had the privilege of supporting Wildman then through their campus certification, and I took great pride in all of their accomplishments and their leadership, both through their campus journey and as you began your district journey of national certification. I've also had the great pleasure of helping facilitate and lead that journey. Your district was a trailblazer for this certification program. Waxahachie ISD embodies the spirit and essence of a district with STEM excellence. From your specialized campus programs to this amazing STEM Expo and the hundreds of teachers that you have STEM certified. I'm so proud of your accomplishments, your growth, and your vision for becoming the trailblazers in this process. I want to say congratulations to all of you, board members, all of the administrators and the teachers, and everyone who has come along on this journey. You truly embody your vision of being a district where innovation thrives and the growth is limitless. And your core values and your vision are so evident from the buildings that we walked through today to all of these amazing recognitions and programs that you are sharing about tonight. It's amazing. What started as a dream for Melissa and your leadership here has really become your reality because you were dedicated to creating a better world for your community of learners. You've earned this very distinguished honor because you were committed to ensuring that all students would thrive, grow, and flourish, not only in Waxahachie, but in their world beyond the classroom. So I want you just to take a moment and soak it in, because you did it. May you continue to be a leader in STEM excellence, not only in Texas, but across the nation. And so it is my honor and great privilege to present you with our distinction of being a nationally certified district for STEM excellence.
The leadership team. If the STEM leadership team would come forward. Derek's not here.
Rotten scoundrel.
Okay, next item, board, is our consent agenda. We have a rather lengthy one tonight. We have consent agenda items A through P. I don't know if we've ever seen one that long before. If there's anything you would like to remove for individual discussion, or if not, I'll take an approval all in one motion.
I move we approve items A through P on the consent agenda.
Motion by Mr. McCutcheon,
Second.
second by Mrs. Timmerman. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Moving into action item A, consideration with possible action to accept a donation of 2 vehicles from the city of Waxahachie, which were formerly used as police vehicles.
Thank you, Mr. President, Dr. Hollingsworth, Board. This evening, it's my pleasure to be before you with a very generous donation from the city of Waxahachie. We have an amazing partnership with the city, as evidenced by Lieutenant Josh Oliver, Lieutenant Chris Dickinson. We have 5 SROs at all of our campuses, the school resource officers. They all have vehicles at our campuses. Earlier this school year, the city donated 3 of the vehicles that have been regularly stationed outside our campuses to the school district for our use. Tonight, we have 2 more vehicles that have been authorized to the school resource officers. The city of Waxahachie is making an upgrade in some of their vehicles. They no longer have use for those 2 vehicles, and so they are donating those to the school district for our use that we can then use for our WIC security team. So tonight, we just ask the board to approve this very generous donation from the city of Waxahachie.
Any questions for Mr. Robinson? Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item A as presented. Motion by Mr. Schofield, second by Mr. Rogers. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.
Action item B will be consideration with possible action to approve the purchase of benchmark phonics for grades kindergarten through 3rd grade in both print and digital version for a period of 5 years for an amount not to exceed $470,000.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Hollingsworth. Tonight is a culmination of months of diligent work completed by approximately 40 teachers, administrators, interventionists, and other district leaders. State legislation requires that districts have a research-based phonics program that aligns with the science of teaching reading and has resources that are on the commissioner's list. Though this is mandated, the state did not allot funding to support this important initiative. Aside from the legislation, WISD teachers expressed the need for a resource to provide explicit and systematic instruction that aligns with their training that they received during these past few years of reading academies. After Dr. Hollingsworth completed his campus rounds, a recurring theme were teachers asking for something to put in their hands to support their young readers. So we got to work. We first met to align our beliefs around explicit and systematic phonics instruction and identify what additional needs this resource should address for our teachers. Explicit and systematic phonics instruction is delivered directly through demonstrations and using clear language and scripted lessons. The alignment of curriculum is crucial to the success of young readers. Once we aligned understanding, we began looking at resources. The commissioner continued to postpone releasing his list multiple times over the months, but the committee continued to look at resources currently in the vetting process. We began with 4 publishers and narrowed the list down to 2. Those 2 were scheduled to come present to the committee. On the Thursday before the meeting, the list was finally released, and one of those 2 publishers was not on the list. So we went ahead with our presentation from Benchmark Phonics. After that, after the committee looked at it, a majority was in favor of moving ahead with recommending this purchase. But due to the investment of both finances and knowing the time that's going to be dedicated to professional learning, we wanted to bring in one other vendor just to have something to compare it against. A majority of the committee once again recommended moving forward with this recommendation of Benchmark Phonics. If you approve this purchase, training will be provided to all teachers during fall in-service, and an implementation plan for sustainability will be finalized. I want to thank everyone that participated on this committee. It was several meetings, long hours, and lots of discussion.
And I specifically want to honor their professionalism and really weighing the resources and trying to decide what was best for our district. So we now have 4 educators who will share their experiences with phonics in this process. Bonnie Bearden, reading interventionist; Whitney Laza, kinder teacher at Simpson Elementary; Jerica Mills, first grade teacher at Northside Elementary; and finally, Jamie Winters, dyslexia coordinator.
I'm Bonnie Bearden. I'm the reading interventionist at Northside Elementary. I've been in a reading intervention position for about 15 years now. As part of our reading intervention team, the first thing we do at the beginning of each school year is assess the leaving end of year kindergartners going into first grade. For the past several years, we have noticed a trend amongst our beginning of the year first graders. An elevated percentage of those students are at risk for reading difficulties, specifically foundational reading skills, which would be phonemic awareness and the phonics knowledge. So we appreciate the district and the board recognizing that we're having a gap. We needed something to fill that gap. Our teachers in the classroom are working extraordinarily hard to meet the standards and using the curriculum they've been given to meet those standards. But this tool, having this program, will ensure that every classroom and every classroom teacher has the tools they need across our entire district to be speaking the same language, using the same materials, and having the same outcomes to hopefully shrink that percentage of students showing risk for reading difficulties.
Good evening, board and Dr. Hollingsworth. My name is Whitney Laws. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Simpson Elementary. And when legislation required us to complete reading academies, it just kind of reiterated and reminded me as to why it's something that we already kind of knew, that having the systematic phonics program is really what our kids were missing. Coming from a district that did use one, I pretty quickly saw the difference in my students, just the way they were reading and the way they were writing, as opposed to when I did teach one of those, a program that was systematic and explicit. There were a lot of kids who I did see a decrease in some of their decoding and their encoding ability, and there was a lot of hard work put into the selection process, and there were a lot of positives to benchmark. The scripted format of this type of instruction is going to ensure that we're using the same verbiage across the board and providing aligned instruction across campuses, providing developmentally appropriate instruction at each grade level, and putting tools and resources needed right into the teacher's hands. The provision of multisensory instruction is going to be good to meet the diverse needs of all of our learners. And it also provides books for both at-school instruction and for at-home instruction, support at home. So it will provide some of those take-home readers for our young readers, especially that may not have those resources at home. It has intervention support for students who have gaps to fill, as well as enrichment for those who are performing above level. And I'm just confident in saying that every student's going to benefit from and will see growth with this type of instruction. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Jerica Mills. I teach first grade at Northside. And I was very honored to get to be a part of this program with Stacy, so thank you so much. Phonics is my passion. So in conversation with other teachers, gaps have been a common concern. Having the same phonics program in place from kinder to third grade will help keep the alignment and the consistency. Something that is really neat is if your student has a gap and you are able to intervene in that area with the support of the online resources, hopefully filling any gaps in the near future. With us using Benchmark, we are able to integrate technology, visuals, and choices into our phonics lessons. Teachers have raved about the e-pocket charts, consumables, and interactive activities that will go along with every lesson.
evening, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. My name is Jamie Winters. I'm the dyslexia coordinator. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about how important a phonics curriculum is to our early readers. Research indicates that 40 to 45% of readers require explicit code-based instruction to be proficient. Code-based instruction would be our phonics. Additionally, 10 to 15% of readers will need that explicit instruction, and then on top of it, intensive support through their teachers. For that population of students, reading is going to be the most challenging academic skill that they'll encounter when they're with us here at WISD. These combined groups make up about 50% of our student population, and while the remaining population won't require the same level of explicit phonics instruction, that exposure is going to help them to be more proficient readers and writers overall, so it benefits everyone. It's also important to note that reading deficits account for a majority of our identifications for specific learning disabilities, approximately 80% of those students. A comprehensive phonics program like Benchmarks could potentially reduce the need for advanced intervention and specially designed instruction. This adoption would also perfectly align with our district's #1 goal for all students to grow academically every year. Thank you.
All right, thank you ladies for coming tonight. Again, thank you to the committee that put a lot of time into this, and thank you for your consideration.
Any questions for Mrs. Johnson?
Yes, I would like to say hallelujah. Really, I remember when they took phonics out, I didn't like it then, and I've said, why don't they bring phonics back? I've been saying it for years. I appreciate what you all have done, but the winners are gonna be our students, so thank you.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say thank y'all for all your work. I will admit and be honest that I had sticker shock when I saw that number. But my personal experience with phonics, with my kids and your presentation, you sold me on it. You know, I still want to see, and it's totally unrelated, but still want to see a commitment to our fund balance, because this would almost get us halfway to our goal at replenishing our fund balance. But I do realize the.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Ms. Timmerman, that was seconded by Mrs. Kriegel. Is there any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to action item C, consideration with possible approval of a memorandum of understanding with the Mind Above Matter for the 2023-2024 school year to provide students grades 6 through 12 access to school-aligned mental health services within the district. Mr. Robinson.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Hollingsworth. During the 23-24 school year, we are recommending that WISD enter into an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with the mental health treatment facility Mind Above Matter, which offices out of Burleson, Texas. Angela Christine, the Director of Business Development for Mind Above Matter, is here. She will share what services WISD will be able to offer our students grades 6 through 12 beginning in August at your approval of the MOU.
All right. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Ginger. So I'm with Mind Above Matter. So we are a mental health treatment facility right now in Tarrant County. We are intensive group therapy. While our clients are receiving group therapy, they're also receiving individual, family, and medication management at the same time. What makes us different is that we are able to partner with schools so that we're at the campus, so it takes that barrier away from the kids and the parents to receive this level of mental health care without the barrier of transportation. It makes it truly accessible. So to receive this kind of care is 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. So kids are having to completely unenroll from school to go and receive treatment for 6 to 10 weeks. So it takes the kids out of school, it takes them out of their peer environment, takes them away from extracurricular activities, which if you're a high exceeding successful kid in school, that's gonna create another stressor. So right now we are in 8 different districts in North Tarrant County and Everman, Aledo and Decatur as well. So we have found that this just allows the kids, this is a small number of kids, so this is intensive treatment. These are the kids who we're preventing them from going into the hospital or treatment coming out of the hospital. So this is a very specific type of treatment. Our groups are about 10 to 12 kids. So through the course of the year, we see very few percentage of kids, but this one group is very important to get that level of treatment to those kids because it's inaccessible where we are. So this is just a little visual of the tiers of care that we have for our type of care. So you can see level 3 and 4, 2, 3, and 4 is kind of where we live. With that partial hospitalization and intensive outpatient. There's a misconception, we are not a hospital, okay? I just want to put that out there. We are a private treatment center that we can open up mobile sites. And so we use schools as those sites so the districts can use those resources. And we can offer scholarships worth up to about $10,000 per kid if we have 4 funded kiddos. It does not cost the district. It does not cost the district anything, just a space. So we call it a therapeutic after-school program because the kids go to school for the majority of the day. They're released a little bit early and they go right into programming. So for PHP, again, it's 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. IOP is 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. We incorporate different modalities into the therapy to keep the kids engaged, such as music, yoga, art, dance, recreation, and we work with the community as well. Common reasons for seeking our type of group therapy, major depression, major anxiety. Nobody has been untouched by the mental health crisis since COVID. I know that you guys have seen that in our community, and it's just on the, it's going up. It's not coming back down. So let's see. Anyone from the community can refer to us. It doesn't have to just be the school, but the kids that we take are only Waxahachie ISD students. So we're not bringing any off-campus kiddos to our program. This is just students in our district. In every district, we're able to fill up our groups. Our hope is to be able to do 2 groups eventually, so we have a junior high and a high school group to be able to meet both of those needs very individually. Just some things that the kids will learn. Half of the program is processing, so they're processing emotions. Half of the program is skills-based, so they're taking and they're putting tool belts in their minds to be able to help them thrive and succeed with whatever issues they're dealing with and prevention. Again, programming, processing, skills. We have individual and family sessions every week for our PHP kids, as well as medication management. Yes, sir.
PHP, IHP?
PHP and IOP, yes, partial hospitalization. Thank you. I talk like everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Partial hospitalization, that's the 5 hours a day, 5 days a week program. Okay. IOP is intensive outpatient program, 3 and 3.
Thank you, Angela.
Yes. So that's there on the screen there for the PHP and IOP. So it's just a little faster to say that. And I think that's it. Any questions? Yes, sir. So we are in Keller ISD, Grapevine Colleyville ISD, HEB ISD, Fort Worth ISD, Birdville ISD, Aledo and Decatur ISD, as well as Everman. Oh, the Coleman?
We did not, but you want to talk about
We've talked about a space, and we've looked at different space options. We found one at Coleman Junior High that has a private entrance. So you can imagine at this level of care that the kids are wanting to be a little bit anonymous and not come through the front doors of the school. So this brings them through a very private door, and they're able to exit through the private door as well. So programming is from 2 to 7 for PHP, partial hospitalization, and IOP is 2 to 5.
And there, your CEO came from Indiana? New York. New York. He came down to tour the facility just to make sure it met all of their standards to ensure that we had what they needed.
I have a question. So I'm looking at this very quickly and trying to absorb it all. Parents are involved at every level, is that correct?
Yes.
So the parents will have,
Yes.
be in the, okay, thank you.
So this, as a school district, I went and I was able to see the Grapevine Colleyville facility. We do not, all we do is provide them a place. They provide the therapist, the psychiatrist, everything is provided by Mind Above Matter. We just have to give them a place to see our students.
Yes, yes.
We also talked about transportation being offered through the district. That's something that you guys can decide. We had talked about a possibility of using the Suburbans to transport the kids so that we can bring them from every campus to the one location so that that's removing yet another barrier for the kiddos.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item C as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Starnader,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. And our last action item will be consideration with possible approval for the engagement with AGCM for project management services for approved bond programs. Mr. Collins.
Thanks, sir. Board, you may remember last month we asked you to reject our responses for project management services because the responses were all over the place and they were non-comparable. We did repost and we did receive what we believe were comparable responses. And we've reached out, and it is upon high recommendations that we recommend for you tonight, AGCM, and we have Michael and Bob here to answer any questions you may have about what they do. But the essence of it is through a bond program, their main function is cost avoidance, and they help us avoid cost. And so as we're going through these bond programs, our goal is to be a good steward of taxpayers' resources. And so with that, with the service like theirs, we are looking at how we can scrutinize every single cost, make sure that we're getting the value for what's being proposed. But you don't need to hear it from me. Let me ask Michael and Bob to come up, and they can talk a little bit about it and answer any questions you may have.
Dr. Hollingsworth and board, we are very honored to be here tonight. I'm Mike Bays. I'm the business development director for AGCM in the North Texas region. I live over in Midlothian. My career has been mostly spent in city government and city management. I retired as a city manager in Wimberley last year, and that's kind of where I was introduced to AGCM. We were having AGCM come in and kind of manage some city projects there, and so when I retired, I transitioned over to them. But as Ryan was speaking about, AGCM comes in and it's a good bond oversight program because not only are we looking and making sure that we try to stay on schedule with your projects and making sure we're building out a really good schedule so you know the exact expectations and your community knows when the buildings will be available, but also using our estimating department, which is probably one of our strongest suits, we can really get a good idea of exactly what we should be, paying for construction services and make sure that as the contractors come through, that they are paying a fair price for whatever materials we're using. And I'll let Bob speak more. Bob's been involved as a project manager. He's also an architect, and he can give you a lot more information about that. But, basically we want to be a partner. AGCM has a long history of 27 years of working with school districts and cities throughout the state of Texas and making sure that partnership is very good for your community and your board. So Bob, I'll kind of let you talk about the projects a little bit more.
Thank you, Mike. Dr. Hollingsworth, you said it earlier, on time, in budget. That's what we're here for. We will help develop a program schedule for all projects. One of the key components to keeping schedules is through design. I know you have some projects that already complete through design, but several are coming that will be a component. So we'll help the design teams stay on track. We also will be reviewing their documents as they come to the different stages of design and are presented to you with costs. We'll be checking their costs that are put together just to validate those. Then we will help you on into construction, monitoring construction process for schedule and for budgets as things come up, as they do. And we looking at change orders, changes in contract. We will work with the design teams to explain the efficiencies to work anything out and come to you. And we promise every month we'll come to you with what is our current schedule, what are our budget, where's everything stand. So there's no mystery. We don't want to keep anything concealed. So we'll be looking at everything as we go forward.
Questions or comments?
I have a question. Could you give an example of a school district that you've worked with and how much money you were able to save them by keeping them on track and watching the budget?
Yeah, one project that I've worked with is the Houston ISD. Their large bond project that they had. And one example would be the high schools. They had a lot of existing high schools, and we were able to come in and find areas within the existing buildings converted where they were planning some initial expansions at the time. So that was one thing. We worked with the design teams and the course staff to work through how we could better use existing facilities.
And how much money were you able to save them?
We were probably on the projects that I'm thinking of, which were 2, 3 high schools, we probably saved 4 or 5% of the construction cost on those. I don't have the specific numbers on those, but they were, they were significant enough to allow some other things that we were looking at doing on those projects.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask the same thing. Good job, Debbie. Can you quantify the value of your services? I mean, are you essentially going to pay for yourself, do you think?
Yes. Yes, I do, John.
Good. All right. I like it.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit, from change orders, and we work with a lot of school districts, we also work with a lot of cities. I know that down in Pflugerville, we've been doing some work down there. And when a change order comes in, if your staff isn't exactly familiar with what the change order is involving, then it can really impact you. And typically, you just want the project to roll on, so your staff typically signs off on that. And I know, speaking with them recently, we were able to save over $100,000 just on some contractability review when they were, the architect usually come in, and all architects like to have a swoosh, right? Like they like to have, whether it's the grandscape windows or the oak, banisters, and when you come in, you can kind of review that and try to save those costs. And then in the change orders also impact that. That's kind of where we'll come in and make sure we're making that cost impact. But, for a city, be able to save $100,000 on a project, it's a really big deal. And so, we can't guarantee that naturally, but having those reviews as part of your process, make sure that we're staying on time is going to be a big deal for the district as we, do these buildings.
I know they worked with Shirts ISD,
Yeah,
who has experienced a lot of growth like we have, in some research that I did on them, and they came highly recommended. Any other questions? Okay, I entertain a motion to approve action item D.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Timmerman,
Second.
second by Ms. Kriegel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0. Next item will be our comments from individual board members. Any particular order, however you may feel.
I'll start. I would like to say thank you and recognize our Education Foundation. We went to the big gala the other night, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jenny, but I think $57,000 in scholarships.
It was $66,000 in scholarships and $57,000 in grants.
Okay, I knew 57. Anyway, it was just wonderful, and our Education Foundation does so much for our district, so I wanted to recognize them.
All right, I was going to say that one as well, so I'll switch gears and piggyback off of one of the reports we had tonight at our meeting, and thank Dr. H for his work since he's been here, and all the presentations you've given, and the teamwork that you put into each campus, having your campus round, and just getting everybody on the same page. So thank you.
Next.
Chris and Josh. We grew up together in the COW, and we worked together a lot, but we want to welcome Chris on board, and Josh, man, we're gonna miss you, but Chris, you need to remember one thing. There's only one Josh. You're not going to replace him, but you'll make your own way. You'll do your own thing. You'll take us to the next level, just like we all expect you to, and keeping our kids and staff safe, and that's the goal. So we welcome you.
First, we missed Teacher Appreciation Week. It is the National Teacher Appreciation Week, so I appreciate all of our teachers that are out there. There's only 15 more days, 14 more days to the end of school, so I understand what it's like to hold on till the end. But I also, Saturday was kind of one of those weird days because there was such great ups, but we watched a lot of seniors play their last game. We watched seniors, I didn't get to watch, but we know seniors were competing in Austin for the theater. And I just want to commend our seniors because I'll tell you what, we had a great bunch this year, and it was a great, wonderful ride. And I just want to thank them for all that they brought and how they represented Waxahachie ISD.
Just a couple of weeks left, guys. Run through the tape. That's all I'm going to say.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to echo the comments for Josh Oliver. Thank you for all your hard work, and we will miss you, and welcome, Chris.
I'll close this with a very quick statement. I just want to say thank you to the entire community of WISD. That should speak for itself. At this point, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. McCutcheon,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 7-0.